Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
Really? You don't know why?
Oh boy, the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer is out, and Godzilla fans are abuzz with excitement. Many people have been going over all the little juicy tidbits in the trailer, but I'm here to pontificate on how they'll all fit together. Obviously, spoilers. Godzilla, renowned defender of mankind, has suddenly gone bad. He's attacking around the globe and injuring many. Injuring. The king of the monsters I know doesn't just injure and move on. He finishes the job. I know. This Godzilla is different. He's the good guy. I know that because of this line.
Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
Sounds like the consensus is that it's out of character for Godzilla to attack people. Called it. But apparently the rest of the world doesn't feel the same way because they vetoed Godzilla. Sounds funny when you say it out loud. I guess he's on track to become the second monster to be impeached twice. Hardy har har. Anyway, mankind figures the best way to deal with him is fight fire with fire and get their own monster. I mean, they probably have the blueprints to an oxygen destroyer laying around somewhere, but I guess introducing a previously isolated kaiju to a world recovering from a recent kaiju reclamation is the safest and most ethical plan. By the way, I call they aren't going to acknowledge the apocalypse in the last film at all in the story. So it just so happens that Monarch have been studying Kong on Skull Island and his relationship with a young native girl. Seeing that he can bond with humans, Monarch uses the girl as bait to capture Kong and they shackle him up and ship him out. However, we all know what happens on the way there. Our boy shows up, more intimidating than ever, cutting through battleships and trying to take out Kong. I'm curious to see how the fight plays out after Kong jumps in the water, Godzilla's domain. My guess is the fight will end in some kind of draw here. In Godzilla vs. Mothra, the battle for Earth. Godzilla and Batra fought at sea, took the fight to the ocean floor, and wound up being consumed by a volcano.
They're gone.
Only to reappear later. I'm assuming something similar will happen here, except Kong finds his way into the Hollow Earth. We know the humans will be with him based on what I assumed was a Super X for an exciting minute, until I saw two of them and realized they were something else. Hollow Earth anti-grav vehicles. So we're going to the Hollow Earth. Where else is Kong gonna get his axe? Oh boy. This axe makes me so nervous. I've seen a lot of kaiju movies, but never saw an ape with an axe. My suspension of disbelief is going to be walking a tightrope when it comes to this concept. I was worried at first that the axe was something Kong just found in the movie, like he was going to pull it off a billboard and it would be the most useful thing ever. Gratefully not. Based on its jagged design and ability to absorb Godzilla's ray, I'm assuming it was constructed from the dorsal plate of another Godzilla's remains. This is something that's cool in concept, and something I can accept if it's done correctly. Now in terms of the child's relevance, the only way I can see her being useful past getting Kong off the island or possibly singing some kind of dumb song later to give him a second wind, God I hope not, I'm thinking the girl will have some connection to the Hollow Earth. The tribe on Skull Island could be the remnants of the civilization that worshipped the Titans, so she may have some kind of genetic ability to open a door or activate some mechanism that produces Kong's axe. This isn't something I want to see, I'm just trying to figure out a reason why there's so many damn kids in this movie. Speaking of kids, on the Godzilla end of things, we have Maddie from the last movie, who I could easily see being an exposition lightning rod throughout the story, as she tries to figure out the mystery behind Godzilla's behavior by talking with a bunch of random weirdos with her fat tag-along friend. Oh boy, does this kid worry me. Look, a kid in your monster movie is like an albatross around the neck.
You know what? You should get the cries of the monsters in this. See you later.
They're like Colonel Kilgore in Apocalypse Now. They have this light coming off them where you know they'll make it through completely unscathed. Now we have 3 of these things in this movie, and I don't like it. You can't kill Stranger Things because Stranger Things, you can't kill Tagalong Fat Friend because Deadpool, and the entire foreign market guarantees the little girl's safety. But let's talk Godzilla. We're in his third movie now, and I feel like I've barely seen him. 2014 was more about the Mutos, King of the Monsters was about a piece of shit, and now we're here, where it finally looks like we're getting the Godzilla I've been waiting for. Just watching him climb aboard that ship like he's rabid is literally one of my asks from my King of the Monsters review. However, I think this behavior shoots down a theory a lot of people have been airing about this film. So Godzilla's acting out of the ordinary, by acting like a monster. Ugh. And some people theorize this is because this isn't the real Godzilla we're seeing, but instead, Mechagodzilla in disguise. Oh my god! We all know Mechagodzilla's gonna be in this movie, and having him disguised as Godzilla would be a callback to his original debut. However, I think that introducing the concept of Mechagodzilla, why he was built, how he was built, and who built him is enough to try to absorb without the addition of someone making a skin suit for him.
What are you, about a size 14?
Besides, the movements I'm seeing here are more animalistic than I've previously seen from Godzilla, so it's doubtful this is a robot copy. However, another theory floating out there is that Mechagodzilla has been built with Ghidorah's brain and implanted with the Orca from King of the Monsters, and is being used to alter Godzilla's behavior. Now, as much as I'd love to see them being consistent with using the Orca, I never liked the Orca to begin with because it never seemed to have any limitations as to what it could do, and ultimately just became a get-out-of-jail-free card for lazy writing. Now, if Mechagodzilla is controlling Godzilla, who's controlling Mechagodzilla? You'll see here on the board that these Godzilla attacks are being carried out near these Apex facilities. And on the IMDb page, we see there are characters labeled Apex Cybernetics Guards. So obviously, this entirely new faction, Apex, is responsible for Mechagodzilla. I'm a little wary of them adding a new faction this late in the series without any build-up, but really, it's all in how they handle it. Make no mistake, I'm rooting for the movie to be everything we want, but I'm incredibly nervous about all the new concepts being simultaneously introduced. Take, for example, the character Ren Serizawa, the character featured here who is standing in front of what is clearly Mechagodzilla's control panel. That means this dude is most likely affiliated with Apex, and probably has a bone to pick with Godzilla after the other Serizawa sacrificed himself to revive it. My question is, how they'll explain Ghidorah's brain getting into Mechagodzilla. Tywin had it last time we saw it, and he isn't in the movie. He always talked about giving the planet back to the monsters, but now Ghidorah's brain is inside a giant robot built to destroy monsters. Dying to know how that all works. But I figure unraveling that mystery will be the busy work Maddie and her chubby friend get to do as they cruise around in Dusty's van from Twister.
It's the wonder of nature, baby!
And yes, I'm gonna keep calling him the chubby kid because they chose him because he's chubby. Everybody knows that chubby kids are monster bait.
Oh, dang, I got honey all over my legs.
Honestly, seeing these kids drive around in a van gives me flashbacks to Judd Hirsch driving the school bus in Independence Day 2. Please, not again. Get those kids out of here. We have enough adult characters to deal with, including the introduction of the Monarch director who I'm dying to see, and we still have Mark bumming around, and it looks like he's just going to be stuck in a series of control rooms again. I wonder if they'll kill him off like Bryan Cranston. I can't imagine he'll have much to do with all these other characters being introduced. Honestly, I'm not expecting much from our new leads. This series has taught me most human characters are just there for utility, not really development. Now, after we've solved the mystery of Godzilla's behavior, and Kong gets his axe, they'll have their Batman vs Superman showdown in Tron City, which is possibly the same place Mechagodzilla is lying dormant. Judging by the lighting, it looks like Mechagodzilla is awakened during afternoon, the axe battle is at night and leads into what looks like the following morning. I originally guessed that we'd do the typical Hollywood ending, where Kong and Godzilla would fight, but would then put aside their differences when a greater threat emerges. They'd join forces to defeat the threat, then part ways with a gentlemanly tip of the hat. But this movie says, one will fall, so I'm guessing this morning fight will be the final battle to determine a victor. Here's what bugs me though. I didn't see Kong take a single hit in the trailer. He's slapping around Godzilla something fierce, but he isn't taking any damage himself. Also, the military is shooting at Godzilla and not him because they're siding with him. He also gets an axe, and his size has been increased far beyond what any of his relatives were. He also gets to fight other monsters, which I assume he'll do to protect the girl in the beginning, or he'll encounter them in his journey for the axe in the Hollow Earth. My point is that all these factors tell me he's the true focus, and he'll probably win. It feels like the entire movie is stacking in favor of Kong. I mean, it has to since Godzilla has the benefit of range, but I wouldn't be surprised if they underutilized his heat beam again to give Kong a chance. I'm hoping for a battle where Kong uses his agility and intellect to counter Godzilla's raw power. But it's shaping up to be Godzilla fighting an axe-wielding gorilla with one arm tied behind his back. I feel like my dude hasn't really gotten a chance to shine in this series, and seeing him take on the military makes me so incredibly happy. I just hope this is a movie filled with good monster action that doesn't get bloated by too many concepts. It feels like we've been holding back on Godzilla's godlike ferocity, and I'm worried they're going to use this final movie in the trilogy to cut him down to size once again. I'm saying a prayer, George. A prayer for the whole world. I pray that the monster action in the trailer isn't all we get from the movie. I pray for the children to be killed. I pray for Mechagodzilla to have an amazing design and still be the armed-to-the-teeth badass he once was. I pray that our monsters are each given their share of awesome moments, and that they are done justice regardless of the outcome of their duel. And I pray that this movie has something for every Godzilla fan, and we can end this trilogy on a unanimously positive note. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so I can shove even more content up your ass. And as always, insert catchphrase here.